because the last time I went to the dentist, he told me that I grit my teeth really bad, which I can believe. So, the other day, I used my friend's smartphone to look something up, and she was mocking me because I'm what's known as a hypochondriac. I'm nowhere near the level that I was thanks to COVID, because whenever the government told me to be a hypochondriac, I was like, it's time to let this one go, you know? And I did let it go for the most part. But I will occasionally go back into that, and the reason I go back into that is because I have an actual problem, and if I go online, I can typically solve the problem a lot better than talking to a professional, because professionals don't really know anywhere near as much as that title would suggest. And so like when I was having issues with this car and I described the issue, what immediately came up was timing belt and tensioner, which was exactly what it was. But I went to Eurofix because I thought that they specialized in European vehicles, so of course they would know what they were talking about. But they tried to charge me $8,000 for a charger that I didn't even need. Okay? So I'm not saying that if you go on the internet, you're gonna be right every single time you look something up, but there are like millions, maybe even billions of people that share their testimonies of various things, and it's good to talk to people too, actually talk to actual people. Yeah, I'm definitely going to the dentist. Because, tooth pain is not something that is very easy to deal with. And it's not something that I want to put off, because it's just going to get worse, But I think you could probably tell by the looks of me that I don't really care about taking care of myself. I don't, that's one of my regrets, I'll say that. But, there are certain things that I should have, paid more attention to. And now I look like shit. But it kind of figures that, I pay so much attention to mental stuff because that's just always been my reality. I've always been knee-deep in conspiratorial thinking and, obsessive behaviors and shit like that, that there would be other things that I would be lax about because of that, So, I'm really, really good at quitting addictions. I'm really good at understanding myself and understanding the world around me. But I can't seem to be motivated to take care of my damn teeth. You know, that's kind of embarrassing. I will totally admit that I have humiliated myself. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to get my teeth fixed in the first place, because I felt like this was my punishment. But, you know, my dad, I was talking to my dad about this last night, and he was just shaking his head, going, well, yeah, you should have taken our advice and done something about your teeth, and you probably won't have these problems because your teeth are, like, shifting. That might be what's happening, too. But the thing is, though, I got my tooth extracted, like, 2 years ago, so it's kind of weird that that would be happening now. I think I have some sort of infection. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried they're going to be like, yeah, we gotta pull all your teeth. That's what I'm terrified they're going to be like, yeah, let's just take them all out, you know? Which is just kind of ridiculous, but yeah, when I was using my friend's phone, she was like, Amy's back there in the office researching how she's gonna die, which, you know, is kind of sort of true. And that's what's bad about the internet. So while you can look up a lot of useful information, you can also look up information that makes you even crazier, and information that you obsess about. That's why I know that it's not wise for me to have a smartphone, because it's too much of a temptation to always be looking stuff up. And so really, it's my personality disorder that convinced me not to ever upgrade my phone, because I know the way that I am. And so it's not just because I'm paranoid about the government. I mean, they're doing whatever they possibly can to fuck us over, but I don't know why I would buy something that would make it so much easier for them, you know? Why would I want a tool that's probably going to be used for my own demise, whether I do that myself or they listen to something that I shouldn't be saying out loud and they come scoop me up? You know, that's what's so crazy to me about social media. Like, I know it seems kind of risque, all the stuff that I put on YouTube, but it's like hardly anybody's watching this shit, you know? People aren't really interested in vlogging channels. And they're definitely, like, not pushed by the algorithm as much as this other crap that's nowhere near as interesting as watching somebody genuinely live their life and express themselves. You know? They would rather promote something that is pushing, you know, all the stuff that the media wants people to obsess about, you know? But anyway, it's like if you go on Twitter and you're saying stuff that is really politically incorrect, it's not just about censorship. It's like, this is not the country that people think it is. Eventually, they'll start cracking down the way that they've done in England. I heard in England, like, the government will, like, visit people's houses if they say the wrong thing, you know? And it's not just that. Like, they can take your guns away, they can take your kids away. So that's what's crazy about it. Like, they're gonna use freedom of speech against everybody. And I remember when Twitter came out, I was thinking, this is going to prove that we don't have a constitution at all. This is going to prove that we actually don't have freedom of speech. I mean, technically we have more freedom of speech than other countries, but that doesn't mean that we legit have it, you know? Because they can always say, well, it's for the health of the general public. It's for the safety. You know, because that's what YouTube will say whenever I talk about something that's a little too racy. Typically something about the LGBT shit. But if I say the wrong word, or if I start expressing the wrong idea, they'll declare it hate speech. They'll say that they need to protect the YouTube community from thinky ideas, you know. If they make you think too much, then they're bad. So, but you know, YouTube, I can't bitch too much about YouTube because you don't want to shit where you eat, you know, but, I'm really grateful that YouTube exists because at least I have this platform, at least I have this place where I can say these things and do what I do best, piss people off. And like I've said over and over again, that's not my intention. But I'm just an honest person that has unconventional opinions that can back them up with my unconventional lifestyle. And I think that genuinely offends people that aren't interesting. People that don't think, oh, I could prove that I feel this way through my actions. I could do things that indicate that I'm opposed to the government rather than keep the government in my pocket at all times. Like, there is nothing to me that's more hypocritical than that. But I realize that people just aren't on that level. Because it's so much easier to like bitch about things that people think are bad than to actually live in such a way that it tries to avoid those bad things, you know? Like, most people don't have that, like, bigger picture kind of thinking, you know? This bigger picture thinking is super offensive. It really is. Because it proves that everybody's a liar. And they're not really interested in actual change. Because actual change starts with you. But, you know, I don't expect people to see that. And even if they do see that, they're not going to be in a position where they're confident enough to, like, do anything, you know? Because they see the hopelessness of change. Which is crazy because it's the complete opposite, you know? Like, if I lived every single day and I thought that it was just gonna be the same old shit, there's no point in doing anything different. Like, what would stop me from committing suicide? Because to me, that's suicide right there. Thinking that everything's just utterly futile and my actions don't mean anything, it's like, what's the point in even living? You know? And that's the way that most people live. And they wonder why they're so fucking depressed and anxious. It's like, yeah, if I lived the way that you live, I would be all kinds of mentally ill. Way worse than whatever mental illness you see here. But, I don't know. I don't think mental illness is what they say it is. Surprise, surprise. But they hate it when they can't control people. You know, like, I think there's way more of a sickness in a society that insists on doing stuff that it doesn't even understand. You know, I think that is a level of sick that is far beyond whatever schizophrenic delusions you think I have. When you want approval from the world and you're not seeking God's approval, how can you really seek your own approval? Like, you don't even know who the hell you are. There's nothing authentic about you. And that's most people. That's most people in general, and that's most people on the internet. It's most people everywhere you go. Yeah, this mindset's very, very dark and cynical, but I have hope in people like me. I have hope in my church. I have hope that God will deliver, as He always does. But people are not ready to be transformed. They just want to keep doing the same thing. How's that working now?